Good evening and welcome to this section. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you if you are speaking. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm so sorry. I'm having a difficult time with the sound. So
All right, okay.
every device I join in, it says I can't use the audio and video. So I don't know if it's because I rejected their cookies. I don't know if that's a thing. Could that be a reason?
But we can hear you now. I can hear you
Yes,
now.
because
That's the thing. I
I
can hear
joined
you
with
now.
my phone, but the two laptops I joined with and rejected their cookies. I was not allowed to use their audio, and so I don't know if that could be a reason.
Maybe that could be a reason, but we can hear you now, so we can get started because we are behind time already.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for coming in late. Do we have
All
the
right.
students online?
Yes, they're online, but I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to read your bio, then introduce you, then we get started.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so welcome
Thank
to
you.
today's section, and today we are having Satina Harry. So I'm going to read her bio. Satina Harry is an emerging leader from Nigeria dedicated to transforming governance and talk and tackling the challenges of poor leadership in our country with over 6 years of experience as a grassroots mobilizer and community development practitioner. She focuses on government, quality education, and youth development. She holds a degree in history and international studies, is an alumnus of the Lagos Business School, and has completed a certificate program in public leadership and policy at the School of Politics, Policy and Government, SPPG. As the founder and executive director of the Paragon's Leadership Initiative, Satinas spearheads leadership training for secondary school students, leaders, and champions advocacy projects aimed at sustainable development. Additionally, he is the co-founder of the Citizens Applications for Political Participation (CAPP), a civic tech platform that enhances communication between government and citizens. This hub empowers over 200 million Nigerians to access civic education, view policy documents, register for political parties, and obtain information about government agencies, all from the comfort of their homes. Satina excels in strategy development and non-profit management, and she is skilled at crafting award-winning proposal and policy briefs. So, um, please use the chat box and welcome our faculty today. Welcome her. You can use an emoji to welcome her to today's
Welcome her
section.
to today's session.
If you can hear me, use
You
the
can
chat
hear
box,
me.
use the virtual clap, and welcome our faculty for today's section. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So I sent a video for us to play before we start this session. I don't know if you have it because I cannot share that now with my phone. Can we quickly
Okay,
play that video before we start the first class? It's very important that we play that video.
okay. Let let's set that up.
Yes. Lead India. That's the title. Yeah, great. That's it.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. I think we can
Okay,
play it now. It's not playing yet. Is it from my end?
okay. It's not playing yet. For we just hope it will. His network is very challenging now. Yeah, can you hear? Because it's playing now. Can you hear from your end? Please, if you can hear, let me know. Thank you.
I can hear it.
Okay, please, can you mute your mic so that it doesn't echo into the video?
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर। सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर। सर आइए सर। चल चल जाओ बोला क्या बात करता है, क्या ऊपर से जाएगा, क्या ऊपर से जा जा
गया मेन शो।
I hate this country. कुछ करो ना।
मैं वहां जाके क्या उखाड़ लूंगा।
कैसी जाने बूंदे आई, जाने कैसा दर्द लाई, सामने क्या है ये तेरे, क्यों रुका है तू बता रे हो। कौन तुझको पार लेगा, कौन होगा वो मसीहा, वो जिसे तू ढूंढता है वो ही है तू वही है। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। जिसे ढूंढता है तू ही रे, तू ही रे, तू ही रे तेरा मसीहा हो।
Tell me what they observed from the short video that we've watched now. Can two people just volunteer to explain what they learned from the short clip that we just saw? Moderator, can you confirm if they can hear me?
Yeah, please, if you can hear her, please
Moderator,
indicate
can
in
you
the
hear
comments.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you, Ma. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I've asked that two persons volunteer to explain what they learned from the video that we just played now. So I'm asking you to confirm that the participants can hear me. Are they with us?
Um, can you give us the feedback on what you've learned from the video we just played? That's the question she's asking. So if you can hear, please use the chat box and send in what you've learned or what you've observed in the video.
Hello. Can we have
Okay,
some
Mark,
volunteers?
can you see the correct the feedback? Okay, let me
I
see.
can't.
Can you see
Via
from your end?
comments. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, I can see. Okay, great.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
great. I see. Everyone is aware of the problem. Okay. 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 I've said okay. Okay. I can see your comments. All right. Well done. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Did you notice something? Someone said that everyone is working to make a change, but it took one person to take that bold step, right? It took one person, and it wasn't even the oldest of people. It wasn't even the, you know, in muscular, in physique. It wasn't even the strongest. It wasn't even the greatest, for lack of better word. It was just a little schoolboy, right? A small schoolboy that saw a problem and decided to take action. And when he decided to take action, we saw collaboration coming, right? And so, with this, now, welcome you to our topic for today. I'll be presenting now. Please confirm if I have access to do that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Which one would you like to
Now,
start with?
we'll be talking about collaborative leadership and influence, right? Collaborative leadership and influence. I can share from my. So this through so that we all can close at a good time. Confirm you can see my screen. Elizabeth, can you confirm you can see my screen now so that I can also confirm that every other person can see it? Can you see my screen now?
The slide is on now. Your slide is on the screen
Okay.
now. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, collaborative leadership and influence. I like our class to be very interactive. And if you have questions, please note them down. We're going to ask those questions at the end of the class. What is leadership? I tried by starting with definition of terms because I like people understanding what we're talking about before we proceed. We'll start by defining what leadership is, what influence means, and then what collaboration means. So if you understand these key terms individually, you'll be able to merge them together. Now, what is leadership? If I ask that, a lot of persons will give me variety of definitions. And what we saw in that video is a clear definition of leadership, taking action that creates influence. Now that boy stopped. He was coming back from school. He stopped to start pushing that tree. when he was pushing that tree, he didn't he didn't have. I'm not sure that he had an intention to drag everybody along. That he believed that he can create a change, right? He believed in his own. I don't even know what gave him that courage to start pushing a tree that is way heavier than his entire body weight. But he decided to take an action, and that action influenced other people around him. And that's what leadership is. Someone came out today to say, I want to lead this group of people. Directly or indirectly, they start influencing those people with their conduct, with their actions, with everything they do. So you see, for example, some persons you see okay, I'm going to use the church setting. There are people that a general overseer dresses in a particular way, and before you know it, the church members start dressing in that way unknowingly. And I think it's because the person might not accurately come out to say, I want you to dress in the particular way I'm dressing, but unconsciously, because he is the leader, that he speaks to his people every day, he leads them, he inspires them, they begin to do things that they do. And that's why if you're a bad leader, you also inspire people to do the bad things, right? So I define leadership as the ability, this is a general definition, as the ability to influence, inspire, and align people towards a shared vision or goal. So that little boy was able to inspire people towards pushing that tree. That was their goal at that point, right? Their goal was to clear that tree of the road so they will have a free passage. So that was their goal. So he was able to influence people, he was able to inspire people, he was able to help people align towards that shared goal. You didn't see other persons pushing a car, everybody came to push that tree. So that's their vision, that's their goal. So we go further to say that vision or goal enables a meaningful contribution and collective results, right? Now, I had highlighted this, the last part, say regardless of formal authority. So that means that somebody can achieve all of this without having a name to his or her position, right? Without saying that you are the head of this organization, you are the chairman of this organization, you are the director of this organization. Somebody can be just a cleaner, and that's not me trying to belittle that role. I'm just saying that probably in the organizational structure, a cleaner might not be the same level with a CEO. So somebody might be a cleaner, right? And the person is exerting influence in the organization more than somebody that has a decorated office. So, say, regardless of formal authority, right? People, regardless of whether you've been made the class captain or not, whether you've been made the head of programs in your organization, in your workplace, and all that, um, leadership will help you. If you have the spirit of leadership in you, or if you have the desire to lead people, you'll be able to do all this without a formal position, without a formal. And so that boy, he's not the community chief, he's not in charge of security, he's not in charge of the road, he's not okay, Nigeria will say he's not FRSC, he's not VIO, he's none of that. His father might not be any of that, but he took it upon himself to lead that change. And so today I want you to have it at the back of your mind that for you to lead change wherever you are, for you to influence people, you do not need a position per se. You do not need a title, right, to carry that out. Now, influence is the ability to shape the thought, decision, action of others in a way that leads to a desired outcome. Now we say leadership, you leading, but this one, you're shaping their thoughts. So we can say that this time around, for leadership, you're leading someone like I myself, you're leading me, Satina, right? You can hold me. For example, you want to teach me. Okay, let me give you an instance using the video we saw. That boy, what he did by going to push that tree and people joined him is leadership, right? They joined him, they shaped their thoughts, they shaped their decision, they shaped their action. It shaped their thoughts. It shaped their decision. Oh, if this boy can do this, let me join him. If this boy can do that, let me join him to do this, right? So that is influence. He influenced them. And influence does not most times it does not require physical activity, or let's say for example, you think you want to influence someone and it means dragging the person, taking your character, your conduct, and all that. There's something one of my friends used to say, and I agree with her. She said that when somebody keeps telling you, I'm a Christian, in fact, before you say 10 words, the person has mentioned I'm a Christian 6 times. Most of the times they are not Christians. They are not real good Christians. Because if you're a Christian, people see through your words, your conduct, you directly or indirectly influence people around you with your belief system, right? Somebody, if they are Christians that when you're around them, you have to behave, right? You not being maybe pretending or being a hypocrite, but you be in your best behavior, right? Because directly or indirectly, their character has influenced you in such a way that you cannot do something bad when you're around them. So that is influence. They have influenced you. And the people that when you are around them, you can be the widest of, you can do crazy things. That is also an influence, but that's negative influence. And the next topic is collaboration. The next one, the process of two or more people. So collaboration involves two or more persons, two or more teams. Anything, one person cannot collaborate alone now, right? So collaboration involves two or more people, teams, organization working together to achieve a shared goal or create value. For example, I'm collaborating with Nita Ray that is organizing this mentorship session. I'm collaborating with her to ensure that we have young persons that are empowered for their career journey. So that's collaboration, right? So we have a common goal, and that's why both of us have joined together to organize this training session. So I move over to the next slide, where we talk about why is it not moving from my end? Okay, all right. The next one is the myth of the lone hero leader. So can you see what I'm sharing? Can you see the next slide now? Okay, yeah, I think it's moving, so I can see it. I can see. So traditional leadership relied on top-down authority. So who is a lone hero leader? The person you move alone, you want to do things alone, you want to do well. That is leadership. But for the purpose of this class, we are talking about collaboration. There's something we say in the non-profit space. We say collaboration is the new competition. So the days are gone where people, you'd want to do things all by yourself. Only maybe they get a task in the office and you want to do it all by yourself so that you get all the accolades all by yourself. And by doing that, most times you get exhausted. Most times you do not bring out the best result because you did not get feedback from input from other persons. Everybody might have something very important to contribute, but because you shut them out, you want to be the lone hero leader. You see that you may not get the best out of what you're doing. So collaboration is the new competition. When we don't there are some dreams, right? I'll give an instance. Even in a religious setting, when we read the Bible, you see the time that some persons went for missionary journey. You hear Paul and Silas, this one and this one. They always went. They knew for this gospel to go far, we have to align. We have to collaborate. And so the disciples, in as much as they all had, some of them had their individual ministry and individual, impact that they created. You will see that in some time that when they want to go for missionary journeys, they will go in pairs, right? It amplifies their results. It amplifies their results, right? So there's an old model of leadership where there's an individual authority, command, control, decision making. You are doing everything, but there's a new one, right? Research has shown that collaborative teams outperform individual decision makers by 50% on complex tasks. So let's assume that we are in this academy, and then I give a task, and I say work in groups. Uh, excuse me, and I say work in groups. And somebody now decide to go and do everything by themselves, and there's a group that, let's say I gave a topic, and in that topic there are like 5 outlines, and I divided everybody into group, and somebody singled out themselves. I don't want to work with this group. I don't want to do anything group. I want to work by myself. And remember, we have 5 outlines that they need to work on. Meanwhile, the other group, they are 5 in number, and they have five outlines. So everybody is going to take one outline and bring in their submission. But you see this other person that is working alone, number one, they're going to spend more energy and time working on that, because if it took this other person's 1 hour for one person, it's going to take this person now 5 hours to finish that particular topic. This is the same thing that will give, and then the output might not be the same, because again, when you get perspective from different persons and join it together, most times it gives the best results. Research has also shown, right? But again, sometimes because you're working alone, you get a narrowed view. You might not explore, and that is why when you are writing a research paper in the university, for some of us that are done with school, when you're writing your first degree thesis or you're writing any other thing, you see them say you consult other sources. That means people, some persons have done something like this in the past. You're going to consult them, right? And at the end of it, you're going to reference them. Why are you consulting them? You want to get their view. You can't just write something. Maybe you want to talk about gender-based violence, and you're writing based on your immediate knowledge, what you know. It has not happened. One person was killed in your street. Meanwhile, there are 50 persons being killed per hour, right? Because you're not consulting other sources. You are not working with other people. You're not consulting other people's work. You have a limited uh, view about the subject matter, right? And so this has changed. Traditional leadership style has changed, right? One person is at the head making all the calls, doing all this and all that, but that has changed. There's now the world is now a global village. So a lot of things, there have been rapid disruption. It demands more than what a single individual can offer. So yeah, leader, right? Now, what is we say collaborative leadership defined? We say leaders actively engage team members as now. This is what it's I've juxtaposed it here, or rather, I've displayed it. Now, we say leaders actively engage team members as genuine partners. When for you to know you're practicing collaborative leadership, number one, you must actively engage your team members in your office, in your anywhere you are, even as even if you're a volunteer in an organization. For you to say, I am practicing collaborative leadership, which of course is a key to success, is that you're actively engaging team members as genuine partners, leveraging collective intelligence rather than directing from above. Even as the CEO of a company where I used to work where I used to work years back, we had what we call strategy meetings every Tuesday. And you know what happens there? The CEO himself comes in. We have meetings, everybody. I'm telling you that down to the office assistant used to be in that meeting. And they bring up projects that we are currently, on the go, projects that we are carrying out. It was a real estate firm. And then they ask everybody of what do you think about this, right? What do you think about that? Everybody contributed. So it's possible, and the CEO is a Harvard trained graduate. So it was possible for him to sit down and say, this is the approach. But again, he saw us as genuine partners. And guess what? Some ideas that even the junior staff, will give are ideas that you can't get from a Harvard classroom. Because these are real life people, these are real humans with real life experiences. So most times, do not look down on anybody. Don't stay at the top, directing from above. You do this most times, and I'm not, saying that you should every time you should do this. There are times that you can take decision as a leader. Decision making skill is another skill a leader will have. But again, you need to create that. Excuse me. You need to create that room that allows you once in a while gather collective intelligence from your team members. Collaborative leadership also is not merely about leadership responsibility. And I'll give an instance. So let's say we have a task to organize a conference, right? And I give somebody money. We need to make purchases for this conference, and I come out and I give somebody I give you 100 naira. I say go to the and I write you a list, right? Go to the market, buy this and that. and I send this person off to the market. The person will go and buy these things and bring them. That's delegation, right? But when you share leadership responsibility, you can ask the person, we want to cook, we want to provide welfare for this event. Can you draft a list? Can you draft a budget? Can you draft the budget? Right? Then the person is going to draft the budget. That's what you're sharing the leadership responsibility. The person draft the budget and brings to you. You review the budget, now give the person the money. That you sit in the comfort of your house and drafting everything, and then you give the list to the person to run off to the market. These are two different things. It means that the day you are not around or the day you're not disposed, right? The person might be clueless. They might not have they might not be confident in their skills to carry out that task because you are not in the picture. But if in the situation where you had delegated that, or you gave them that leadership responsibility to do this thing even in your absence or even in your presence, you're available, but you want them to do this, right? You get to see that even with your absence, things will not your organization will not collapse. Right. So I'm speaking to you now. You might be a team leader someday in your organization, or probably you're currently in an organization that have team. You're currently in an organization that you are a team member. You're not a team leader yet, or you're a team leader. Always have this at the back of your mind that there's a clear distinction between leadership responsibility and delegation. Right. Um. So the next slide we talked about. So we say leaders transform into facilitators of collective effort, moving beyond simply directing, compliance. I think I've touched on this. You move from directing, you become a facilitator for collective efforts. Let every Tom, Dick, and Harry contribute their one error, right? Okay. We talked about. I think I'm going to skip this. Say very influencing without authority. Now, how do you influence without authority? Some of us might be asking that question. You might say that I am just a junior staff, I just got in, I'm an assistant. How do I influence without authority? You know, I was an assistant when I started off my career journey. I started as an assistant to a director, a high level director, and I influenced without I had authority because I was his assistant, but that authority is somewhat limited. So how did I influence without authority, right? So we say that in some cross-functional organizations, formal titles only carry you so far. The ability to influence without has become an essential skill, and when you master this skill, I'm telling you, when you master the ability to influence without authority, it sets you, it announces you, when you're able to influence without authority. It announces you. So they'll be like, in there's a part of scripture. Sorry, I always refer to scripture. I'm a Christian by religion. They will say that he that is faithful in little will be faithful in much, right? And so if this person without authority has been able to lead this organization into this tremendous success, what happens if we make this person a chairman, a branch manager, a this and all that? So influencing without authority, don't always leave. You are seeing things going down the drain in your organization, and you be like, it's not my job. I'm not. No, you see yourself as a leader, and as a leader, whenever you see yourself, whatever situation, there's that tendency to lead. Let me give an instance. Have you seen some persons now? Let's say, for example, you guys, you went somewhere and they say, I'll give you an instance. When I went for NYC camp, they asked us to um write our names, or we just gathered, and they'll be like, organize yourself. And this young man, to show you people that have leadership skills, this young man was like, he saw that everybody was rowdy and all that. Before we could know, he tore a sheet of paper. He asked everybody to, arrange themselves. He started collecting like nobody asked him to do that, right? You could see that there are people. He saw the situation. He saw that there's a problem. If we don't arrange these people and get our attendance, and submit to these guys, we will not live here. Everybody was busy complaining this guy just thought of a solution. That's leading with influencing without authority. And because of what he did, everybody, fell in line. The queue that we were to form that was disorganized, everybody fell in line. At that time, they didn't make him platoon leader, they didn't make him our leader. We didn't know ourselves. We came from different states in the federation. But he was able to lead without authority. Some of us are in organizations, you come in, everywhere is upside down, and you just it's not your business. Something is going wrong. You have the ability to even, and most times, one thing with leadership is that you do not necessarily have to be at the forefront. You just need to, like that boy, he started something before people joined him. Again, he influenced without authority. Number one, how do you influence number one, you advocate for your ideas. You have an idea, you can meet with your manager, you can meet with your team lead or whoever, and present your case, right? Advocate. And you don't come and advocate with baseless data. You advocate for your ideas. Okay, I have seen this happen. If you do XYZ, we're going to get this result, right? Gain buy-in, align with stakeholders, move initiative forward without mandate, create lasting partnership at any career stage. Your career, especially, I don't know the number of women on this call, and I don't know the number of men, but for both genders, you need to build stronger relationship, create lasting partnership at any career stage, right? And when we say these things, do you know the
Hello,
reason
ma.
why
Can you hear me?
some of us we
Ma, can
have
you hear me?
we do not take our job serious? It's because you've not seen a future with that job. And aside that, let me tell you, even if you're a
Can
sales
you hear
girl
me, ma?
in any organization, please, or a sales boy, please, I want to plead with you that you should take it very serious and ensure you leave the organization better than the way you met it. Because 5 years from now, 10 years, somebody might say, I need to get a reference letter. I need you to get a reference letter from your former employees, right? Some of us leave organizations with bad record. We leave organizations with bad, causing havoc to that organization. But please, like I said, build stronger relationships. It's going to help you in your career, especially if you're in your early career stage. This is the time to build traction. This is the time to build relationships that will guide you, right? So we talked about this. I'm trying to rush over this so that we move to the next topic. Say when diverse minds unite, they achieve more than any one person alone. I have stated that when diverse minds align, they achieve more than it's not rocket science. It's real life, experience. When diverse minds, the people from the people building the Tower of Babel, right? If it was one person, I'm not sure how far he was going to go. But God saw that these guys, with this zeal, with this collaboration, they're going to get to me. And so he caused them to speak. He caused confusion in their midst. Everybody started speaking different language. So God understands the power of unity, the power of collaboration, right? um why so a collaboration matters because 50% of, according to data, collaborative teams are perform solo decision makers, right? um Collaboration is one of the major drivers of organizational performance. Okay. Okay. I think I'll stop there now for us to ask questions, and we'll take it from there. So questions, anybody? Do we have questions? Hello, do we have questions?
Can can you hear me? Or can you hear the faculty? If you have any question, you can use the chat box.
Hello.
Okay, ma, we are still waiting if there's any questions. Let's just wait for a minute. If there's no question, then you can continue. Can you hear me? Ma, can you hear me from your end?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Amy UB said she doesn't have any questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Elizabeth said no questions. I'm glad. So if I ask you my own questions now, would you be able to answer? So I'm going to ask Emmy, what would you do differently going forward to ensure that you create influence in your organization? What would you do differently? Emmy, I'm asking Emmy UB, what would you do differently to ensure that you create influence in your organization? Okay, I'm not sure anybody's saying anything. I can't hear anyone. Can we move over to the second topic? Can we move over now? Okay, I see your comment, Elizabeth and Emmanuel. Thank you. Emmy, sorry, I'm calling Emmanuel already. I am assuming that's your name. Emmy UB. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, so I'll move over to the next session and we'll call it a night. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Please type in the comment section if you can see my screen so we'll start. We're going to talk about quickly about business writing and reporting. Right now that we've taught you how to create influence, how do you now communicate, right? Communicate even your influence and every other thing that you do. How do you communicate that? Okay, can we? Okay, I can. Well done. I can see your comments. So, can you see my screen? Can we proceed now? All right, so you can see my screen now. So business writing and reporting. Again, we're going to start with okay, we're going to start with understanding some key terms, right? We all know that writing is a form of communication. So, how many types of communication do we have? Can we share in the group chats? What types of communication? How many types of communication do we have, and what are they? Right? What are they? I want us to. It is a very interactive class. How many forms of communication do we have? Okay, I see someone saying oral. Okay. I need another person to comment. Okay. Communication can be formal or informal. All right. Okay. All right. Written or oral. Great. We are all correct, right? Written communication, and that's this business writing falls under written. So we have verbal and written. So another term could be oral, right? We could say oral as well. We have verbal and written forms of communication. And for that, this business writing and reporting falls under written communication. And people always say the end goal of communication is that both parties, understand themselves. You are what I'm sending to this other party is well understood, right? And that means that communication has happened. So if I'm speaking and the other party is not understanding what I'm saying or do not get what I'm saying, communication has not happened. I was just speaking to myself, right? And so yeah, I see your comments in the chat room. Okay. So we just stop at that. So I started with a quote to say, most professionals don't struggle because they lack idea. They struggle because they can't communicate those ideas clearly. Right? You see, there are persons that have thousand and one ideas in their head, but either they can't write very well, or when they write, they don't communicate it the way. Have you seen some persons say, I prefer um talking to writing. Some person will say I prefer writing to talking because they have a flaw in either form of those communications. So it's either that when they are speaking, they're not communicating what they intended to communicate in their mind, right? Or when they are writing the wrong thing, or they're not writing correctly what they wanted to write. And so that's a problem for a lot of persons. So we say most professionals they don't struggle because they had these ideas, but they struggle because they cannot communicate. And today I'm going to tell us how we can communicate effectively, this time through business writing and reporting. In the course of your work, in the course of your career, these are it's and the reporting could be a stock of toiletries. So how many tissue paper did you use for the month? How many soaps did you use? How many hand washes? That will go into writing because probably the accountant or anybody wants to document that. So this is an important skill for every career person, whether you are going into uh, uh, whether you are in top level management position, or you are a junior staff, or you're just starting off your career. It is an important skill for everybody to learn. All right, so the next slide, I said here in okay. So business writing and reporting, please let's pay attention. Business writing and reporting is the structured process of communicating information, insights, recommendations in a clear, please pay attention to these words, clear, concise, and professional manner to support decision making and action within an organization. So that means the reason why they ask you to do this is that it supports decision making. So, for example, I gave an instance with the cleaner. If a cleaner writes report and say, in this month we use 100 tissue papers, they may ask, why are we using 100 tissue papers? Okay, let's install, or rather let's start having water. Let's alternate with water. 100 tissues is going to go run us bankrupt, right? That report has helped the organization make that decision. Next is business writing refers to every, and I summarize it by differentiating writing from reporting. I say business writing refers to everyday workplace communication such as emails, memos, proposal, messages focus on clarity and action, while reporting involves presenting information. So we write emails, we write data, we write all these things. Now, most times we carry out activities, the email transactions we're sending, the book we read, whatever activities that goes on in the organization, most times organization requires reporting. For example, I told you that I used to work before, so we usually would send a report of our activities for the week at um every Friday. So every Friday you report what you've been doing from Monday to Friday, the tasks that have been closed out, the ones that are pending to be forwarded to the next week, and all that. So yeah, that's what that means. Qualities of a good report and writing. No, for you to say that the report you have or your writing skills are good, these are some of the qualities. Number one, it should be clear, easy to understand. When I look at it, I should understand it. When a anybody that is literate looking at it, so not saying illiterate now, most times you see something online and somebody will say, explain to me like I am in primary one. That means the thing is very verbose, or the thing is so complicated that an average reader cannot understand it. So they will now beg you, please explain to me like I'm in nursery one, right? So number one, it should be easy to understand. You don't write report and maybe you go to ChatGPT or any AI tool and it gives you all the verbose grammar. You download it that way and put, and you forget that you're not sending this to professors, that have specialty in grammar and all that. You're sending it to an everyday average reader. And even if you're sending it to professors, you should use, you should make your message easy to understand. So they are not racking their head. What's the meaning of juxtaposition? What's the meaning of this and all that? Number two, it should be straight to the point, concise, straight to the point. Probably you want to tell us that we had spent 100 tissues and you start by, on so day I went to the market. When I got to the market, I climbed upstairs. When I went there, I branched a chop. At the end of the day, you want to tell us that you bought 100 tissues. Why not go straight to the point? Right? Concise. A good report, a good writing should be concise. Next one is structured, well organized. It should be well organized. You see the way that some people write email or they write up. See, their writings you will see and they appeal to you. I have been in panel of reviewing job CVs, and their CVs that you see, it gives you this calmness in your spirit, and you are forced to look at it again. But their CVs you see, immediately your eyes just behold the CV, you even get angry with the candidate because it's so disorganized. The writing font, the style, the punctuation, everything is not in good shape. And so your writing should be well organized. And I say this for even other aspects of your life. Where make sure you organize, be excellent in everything you do. The next one is relevant. Focus on what matters. So let's say I have asked you to report your activities for the week, and then you're telling me about a funeral you need to attend. It's not relevant to the conversation. It's not relevant to the report that you're supposed to send to me. I said, send me a report of your activities for the week, and then you're telling me of something that happened 10 months ago. It's not relevant to that. And so it's even when the person is reading, the person gets even angry and may not, the attention will deviate from the report they've asked you to write to something else. And the last one is action oriented. A good report is action oriented. It always leads to decisions. A good report, a good writing is action oriented, right? So what that means is that the end of all this is that it's going to lead us to take an action. The action could be an immediate action or futuristic action, but that is going to lead us to take an action, right? The next slide, I talked about types of business writing. Now, what are all these business writing I'm talking about? They are in different types. Number one, we have emails. If you get employed in an organization, one of the things you see happen is emails. They don't communicate via chit chat. They don't call you to the office and that's how they communicate. They can call you sometimes and talk, but again, the major form of communication are emails because why it's written is documented for future use and all that. It's used for quick communication, update, requests, right? And like I said, they should be clear, concise, and action oriented. Reports. It, we also present reports. You see, report is a form of business writing. It's used to present information, analysis, and findings in a structured format. For example, maybe you work as a social media manager for an organization, and your boss now said that I want to see a report of how many persons have visited our website for this week. You're not going to go to a piece of paper and write 10 and give it to no. You're going to do a comprehensive report, putting your findings in a structured format in a way that when your boss look at it, they know exactly what you're saying. How some of us seen where we have graph, chart, and all that. For example, there's this organization I follow. What they do is that they do financial analysis because finance is a very, you know, it's not a topic that everybody likes because the numbers they could be so bogus and all that, right? The number could be so bogus and all that. So what they do is that they put all that information in a manner that it will be appealing to you. So by looking at it, you love it, right? You understand what is being said. Next is memos used for internal communication within an organization. Memos are brief, direct, typically focus on important announcement. When you go to public offices like ministries and all that, you usually see internal memo, maybe announcements and all that. You might be responsible for writing all of that, and so you need to know the key tips to use on how in writing, right? Because it's a form of business writing. Like I said, it should be clear, concise, action oriented, and all that. The next one is proposals. Proposals are used to suggest a plan, project, or solution and persuade others to approve it. So proposals for people in the non-profit, when you apply for grants, they will ask you to submit a proposal, right? That proposal, you are explaining the purpose. Okay, there's a problem we've identified. To solve this problem, these and these and these are what we need and all that. That's a proposal. In the business setting also, they also in like non like corporate businesses that are non-profits, they also write proposals, right? And so these proposals are used to suggest a plan, a project, solution, and all that. So they write proposals, and you might be responsible for writing any of these based on your job role or organization. The next thing we want to talk about is we want to take a quick exercise. And I wrote this. I said, we had a I needed to rewrite this sentence here. We had a meeting and discussed several things, and we think it might be good to move forward. This is the sentence, right? I want you to rewrite it, making sure using clear message, action, and concise structure. Structure. So I needed to rewrite it using these three criteria. Um, can you guys hear me? Okay. I think I can see the interaction in the chat room. So please put your answers here. I want to see your answers. I want to see your answers in the chats. I'm waiting for us to put our answers here. Okay, I see your feedbacks. We met to review the main issues, and after careful, we recommend taking the next steps and moving forward. Emmy. Okay, there was a meeting where several. So somebody said option SYZ. I need it to be concise. SYZ. I am just assume that it's your boss that is asking you to write this. What will be the feedback? Right. There was a meeting where several things were discussed. Options XYZ have been adopted to make progress. We met to review the main issues, and after careful considerations, we recommend taking. So, is that clear? Clear message. What are the main issues? It's not clear. Okay, I see your feedbacks. We met to review the main. What are the main issues? It's not clear. So it's why not say we met, we had the meeting and discussed the building project. That's been clear. And we think it's a good might be a good move to move forward. And so we are paying the contractors. So that's action, right? And concise structure. So that way you've communicated what you want to do. There's an action plan and all that. All right. Is that clear? Is that clear? Can we proceed? All right. Thank you. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So, like we've got, always ensure that things are clear, concise, they have action plan and a clear structure. The next slide we talked about qualities of a good. Okay, no, I think we are way above that. We say tips to aid excellent business writing. So always have this at the back of your mind when you're writing when you are writing a business report, because I might not be there to correct it. Right. So I call it the decision framework. So the word decision. So these words now DEC. So it's decision. So when you think of decision, think of this framework. Number one is that you define the purpose. Why are you writing? If you don't know your goal, your reader won't. Why are you writing this email? Have you put in the why? You're writing this email to tell this person to come for this meeting at so time and place. You just say, come for the meeting. I'm writing in form of the meeting. Which meeting? Where is the meeting holding? What time is the meeting? What is the venue? Who are the Is there anything I need to prepare for the meeting? You have to define the purpose of you, right? Are you just writing the mail to tell the person there's a meeting? Probably they're not needed. Or you're writing to invite the person. Those are two different things, right? If you don't know your goal, your reader won't, right? Number two, they need to come for this meeting, or they're just informing them for information's sake. Number C, for C rather, communicate the key message.
Um, Yamli Yagaba Akwebo around I think around 3 in the afternoon. Yamli Ifi Cross River around 6 k.m. Okay. Oh, no, oh, first of all, me too, ma. After it too, ma. That
Hello,
beach
can
car
you hear
one,
me
ma,
now?
which is very risky.
Can you see my screen now?
Okay.
Can you guys see my screen? It's showing the class exercise. So I have, excuse me, I've highlighted an email and I've asked that you should tell me what is wrong with that email. Look at it
Yaka,
based on everything you said. What is wrong with that email?
it's well.
Please let me know. Let me know in the comments if you can see this slide I'm sharing. It's titled class exercise.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Please let me know in the comments if you can. You can't. Okay, you can't see my screen. Let me stop sharing and share again. Um, we have to. We have just few minutes. I think we should wrap up before 8 p.m. Confirm if you can see it now.
Hmm. It's well.
Confirm if you can see it now.
No, it's all right. I found. Oh, no,
Okay.
that Tiaza Obama,
Okay,
Yaka
great.
Obama.
So I had given tips to aid excellent business writing, and I used the decision explain the context, communicate the key message, indicate the action, structure clearly, keep it impactful, outcome focused, and next steps, right? We move over to the next. We move over to the next slide. Okay. I gave an exercise here. Please move to the next slide. It's who's sharing? I'm not sharing, right? Okay. Yeah, class exercise. Look at this email and identify what is wrong with this. Said, hi, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to follow up on the meeting we had last week regarding the project and to let you know that we've been reviewing some of the options and discussing internally. And we think that one of the options might be good to proceed with, although we are still considering a few things and we appreciate your thoughts when you have time. Thanks. Please identify what is wrong with this email. So I'll be looking forward to your comments in the comment section. Let's identify what is wrong with this email based on what you've learned and what based on the tips that have given you regarding writing an excellent business report and email. I'm seeing your comments. Yeah. The writer didn't specify what option has been considered to proceed with. Great. That's a okay. It seems vague. There's not enough specificity in the entire email. Great. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to follow up on the meeting. Which meeting? Right? You see, it didn't stay the meeting. Probably they had several meetings that held the last week regarding the project. Which project? It wasn't spelled out. It's not clear. And to let you know, we've been reviewing some of the options and discussing internally. So it's just vague. There's no yes, I like Elizabeth's comment. Even Emmy saying the meet yes. Okay. Vagueness of this. And we think one of the options might be good to well, which of the options? So this person just this kind of mail is tiring because it will now lead to constant back and forth. You're wasting time, right? We are considering a few things and would appreciate your thoughts when you have the time. So there's no action. When you have the time, the person can have time next year. So what options? Great, celebrate. I see your comment. Well done. Well done. Okay, nice. I think we are catching the juice now. I'm going to share another slide now, and I think that's the last exercise. This is a report. Yeah, it's a report, and I want you to identify what is wrong with this report. Can you see it now? Identify what's wrong with this report. Okay, read and let me know what is wrong with this report. Excellent. I see your options. I see your feedback. It said, apologies. It said the title does not let us know what particular project exactly. Project report. Which project? Is it project this, project that? Right? It said the report title was not specific on what project. Great. The writer confidently gave zero information in this. Honestly, the particular project, the time started unnecessary. So it did not provide enough information. Several activities have been carried out. Whatever activities a report. So you need to outline the activities that were carried out, the outcomes that were observed, the challenges encountered. So the challenges should even come in bullet points. All these things should even come in bullet, well arranged, so that if you just look at the document, you can pick out the challenges. You look at the document, you can pick out the activities. You look at the document, you can pick out the outcomes. There are different options that can be considered. What are the options to be considered? And it is important to carefully review all possibilities before making a decision. So I'm glad that you guys understand this. So when next you're drafting an email or a report, ask yourself this question: is this thing clear? If somebody just picks up this, can this person get, except it's a confidential communication that the receiving party have said, do not put specific details in this conversation. But generally, when you are writing this have this at the back of your mind. So thank you very much. I will now ask if you have questions, comments, feedback, clarifications. I'll take them at this point. Thank you very much.
That was an amazing section. Please, let's appreciate our faculty. Let me see your virtual club. Let me see your emoji flying if you can hear me. Let's appreciate her for that wonderful section that we just had. I can't see your emojis. Send your fire emojis, send your virtual clap. At least you've learned something, right? And please indicate if you can hear me too, so I don't just speak to myself. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, Ma. Thank you so much for that section. It was really detailed. So now I know that if I'm writing my report, it should be concise, it should be detailed, it should be straight to the point, it should be organized, it should be clear in a way that even if I'm not there, the person that is working with it should know what to do. Okay, I've seen Libra. Thank you for that. Okay, Elizabeth say thank you, ma'am. Satina, you simplified business writing and reporting. Okay, so do we have any question? If you have any question, do well to use the chat box, and you can use this moment to also share your key takeaways in this section. Share your key takeaways, and then if you have a question, you can use the chat box as well. Okay, because we are rounding this up very soon. If you have your question, okay, Amy has a question. She said, please, ma, in our organization, the processes need to be followed before you can lead without a title. How do you maneuver that? Ma, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
I know it can be very. Can you hear me too?
Yes, I can hear you. You can proceed.
Yes. So this question, it's very confusing when you are in this sort of organization. Everything needs processes, everything needs protocol, but it doesn't take away your ability to lead influence. Let me explain. I once worked in an organization whereby you have to even to um you have to get permission for everything, like everything, right? Even the office assistant, for him to every week he get permission before he can bring out supplies that the office we need. You see that kind of situation. Water that people will drink in the office, you get permission. Water, not even anything. But do you know what influence is that in as much as this person is getting permission to get this water, that the person ensures that probably people do not waste Can you hear me now? Yeah, you can collaborate. That's why I said collaboration is the new competition. So you are in a position where you can't make decisions by yourself. You can't take actions. You can't do anything except through approval. Collaborate with the kingmakers. Collaborate with those people that are in charge. Maybe you have something that you want to propose for the decision. Propose it to them. That's you taking initiative. That's you leading change, right? It's not that we have CEO in the company. You come, you say want to I feel that we want to need to repaint this building. If we repaint this building, we'll get more customers. That's you taking laws into your hands. That's not you leading. The proper way would have been to come up with even a report that this, based on research, the aesthetics of an environment influences buyer's decision. So you're proposing this, and before you know, they can even tell you to handle that project, and then you handle the project, and then we do that, and we see that what you propose is actually working. The aesthetics has improved, customer base has improved. That's you. You have led influence. People will now, always refer to what you've done. So you can always collaborate with people that are in positions to make things happen. I don't know if I tried to answer your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Who asked the question? Leave it. So, I hope you have been able to answer your question. Leave it. Please indicate in the chat box. Indicate in the chat box. Oh, it's Amy that asked the question. Amy, I hope you've gotten the answer. Amy, can you indicate in the chat box if you're still here with us? Okay, so with that, we're going to wrap to this section, and I can say, okay, she said you have very instructive enough. All right. Thank you so much. And it's really an insightful section. I know we have learned a lot, and we're going to practice this. It's not just about being in class. The work is when you practice this. That's when we know that, okay, you've actually learned something. So we'll just call this a wrap for tonight until we meet in the next section by this weekend. Do have a wonderful good night rest and a happy new week to everyone. Thank you so much, Ma Satina, for taking our time to be with us. We really appreciate. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you, everyone. Happy to connect with you. Bye bye.
All right, Ma. Take care. Good night.